Welcome to Capital 9 Sports Weekly, where the questions don't matter and the points are made up. I'm alongside Michael Johnson. I'm Omar Muhammad. And it's not football season, but Brian Aragpo had a golf tournament last past Monday. Right. And we ran in, and our Kevin Jones ran into Josh Wilson, the cornerback for the Redskins, and he had some pretty interesting things to say about his former teammates and current teammates.
You know, last year we had a lot of situations where we had people who had never stepped on the field, never, probably weren't the most talented people to, come in a nickel and dime situations. And this year we were able to, bring some guys in to support us.
What do you think about that, man?
Even if you just look at the way he made that statement, guys in the nickel and dime, you knew it was guys that weren't capable of playing the position. By no means could he have gone any further in downplaying how bad these guys were. I mean, he was just as blunt and honest as you can possibly be about guys who are not capable of playing in that secondary. And the stats show it. We were 31st in touchdowns allowed with 31, 28th in overall defense in the league. So you look at this team's secondary, it shows. Josh Wilson has some valid points there.
The most harsh part of that quote for me was the fact that he said, these guys, he had guys that never stepped on the field, as if these guys got NFL contracts from like the grocery store.
Right.
They
were not worthy.
He basically said these guys stink, and I mean, and he went out and he said, like you said, the nickel, the dime positions. So that's guys that came in like Reed Dowdy, Madieu Williams. Right. D'Angelo Hall was the nickel back on certain positions. They had the rookie Jordan Bernstein come in. Yeah. These are guys he's specifically talking about. He's probably saying our starting four was fine. Right. Until these guys came in, and they made us look terrible.
Well, any Redskins fans knows if you go back and you look at the games and the footage, we got beat deep consistently.
Often. Teams
just knew that they could go over the top and they were going to score. And you look at some of those names, Reed Dowdy, Madieu Williams, they could be playing in the CFL. The fact that they're in the NFL is a surprise to me and clearly a surprise to Josh, because the productivity is awful.
And I think the one play that really comes to a lot of Redskins fans' minds is New York Giants. RG3 goes on that game-winning drive just to have it all taken away on a fly route where Josh Wilson is diving after Victor Cruz, and Madieu Williams is jogging behind him, and that just really sticks in some players' minds.
It was another one of those games where if you had woke up on Monday and you saw Victor Cruz doing that salsa dance, you knew we lost the game. Because Victor ended up in the end zone, and you knew it was going to be one of our DBs who ended up getting beat deep. And story of our season.
That makes sense why they went out into this draft and then got three guys immediately they knew that could contribute to the defense, and that's Phillip Thomas, Bakari Rambo, and their first pick, David Amerson.
Right. And out of those three guys, is there anyone that you see that can start on day one, if need be?
I was very high on Phillip Thomas going into this. He was probably like the number 2 safety that I thought the Redskins should target. I wanted them to at least try to target Jonathan Cyprien, but everybody figured he wasn't going to make it past the Bengals in the second round. He actually was the first pick overall in the second round.
I think the only knock on Phillip Thomas, and I do agree with you as well, that he's probably the most capable player to be able to play on day one, would be the fact that the level of competition he played against was a little bit less than some of the best competition. He played for Fresno State, so he's not seeing some of the better guys that in the SEC, or Thomas, who played in NC State in the ACC.
And Bakari Rambo, I mean, the guy that had third or second round talent that slipped all the way to the 6th, he played in the SEC. So
playing
he got
for the University of Georgia, you're seeing the best competition week in and week out in the SEC. But talking about competition, I think we might want to transit now over to the NBA playoffs and how exciting this second round has been. The fact that every single series is tied 1-1 right now. And every series.
The West that we all thought was easily going to go over to the Spurs or the Thunder is conveniently up for grabs. And one team that's really making it unpredictable, Golden State.
Golden State.
And the guy leading Golden State, we all know that he could have been a Wizard a long time ago.
Yeah, Steph could be playing for the Wizards. That year that Steph was drafted, that was 2009, the 2009 draft. We had the 5th pick, and we traded it to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which you brought it up. I'll let you tell the people who we got.
Randy Foye and Mike Miller.
Right, Randy Foye and Mike Miller.
Randy Foye and Mike Miller.
Right. Right. And right now, what is Steph doing?
He's the best pure shooter in basketball.
And we're not making this up. If you watch Steph on any given night, it's a human highlight tape what this guy is doing. I think between him and LeBron James, they've got to be the most exciting players to watch night in and night out in what they're doing in these playoffs.
And then you can look at the draft history of the Wizards, and you can probably think of a couple other names that the guys they passed on that are leading some teams other places.
Yeah, definitely. You look at Thompson. Thompson was available in the 2011 draft. We had the sixth pick.
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson for the Golden State Warriors. We had, who played for Washington State. We had the sixth pick in the 2011 draft, and we elected not to pick Klay Thompson that year. We chose a man by the name of Jan Vesely. Jan Vesely has not done much for the Washington Wizards. For the fans who do know.
Can you at least try to say it without any bias in your heart?
Well, I'll take a step back and I'll put my fandom down for a second here. Jan Vesely
one of the few Wizards fans alive. Continue.
You know, when Ernie Grunfeld chose this guy, I feel like he was watching a YouTube tape of Jan and his best plays, because all he really does for this team is dunk. That's about it.
In the Wizards' defense, the guy was 6'11". They were saying he could play small forward, power forward combo. How do you pass on that anyway? I mean, of course, he's a Euro guy. There's the risk with the European guys.
Right.
But a 6'11" small forward, that's Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
That's Kevin Durant.
I mean, more times than not, European players don't always pan out as well when they come into the United States. A player like Jan Vesely, who was built and mainly picked because of his athletic ability, you telling me you can't find that in the States?
I say you go with the guy that you think is best for your team, and the Wizards have proven that's not the best. They don't have the best scouts for that.
Right.
They've also passed on James Harden. But we're going to pass the ball off to you guys. Feel free to comment on the link below. I'm Omar Malcolm. That's Malcolm Johnson. I promise to iron my shirt next time. That was a very busy day.
Dry
Captain
cleaning,
9 Sports. 9 Sports.